Good evening. It is Tuesday, September the 16th. It's about 6:25 p.m. This is meteorologist Shay Gibson bringing you a preliminary forecast for the CORA Alice Cup coming up this Saturday and Sunday. It'll be racing to the Sea Island Yacht Club on Saturday and back on Sunday to the Charleston area. So, leaving out of the CYC and heading down the coast and back should be pretty fun. There's a lot of wind coming, so it looks like there'll be enough. The ride down will be a lot faster than the ride back. We may have some rain to deal with, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Right now, let me go ahead and put myself in the corner. I wanted to show the CORA website. You can drop down to the event. Skipper's meeting is this Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. I'm sure it'll probably be held at the Ashley Yachts area at near the CYC or in the CYC. I'll find out where that's going to be. But just plan on being at the Skipper's meeting 6 o'clock. The event page here, if you go, you can find the information you need for the party coming up for that event on Saturday, and then also for the event page for the actual races themselves. You'll come down to here, and there's information. New documentation was just dropped today about races 1 and 2, so be sure to take a look at those documents. But with that said, I'll go ahead and just jump right into the forecast. And right now we've got this hybrid system that's moved into the Tidewater area of Virginia. This is going to be wobbling around and then slowly moving out by Thursday, Friday. And then what we're going to have is, if we move it forward in time, we see this large Canadian high starting to drop down. And that's going to start positioning itself over the northeastern U.S. and the Canadian Maritimes, right? So this high is going to more or less bring us a pretty stiff northeast to east northeast wedge down the coast. And that's going to start on Saturday morning and increase through the day, through Saturday night, and all day Sunday as well. The one thing I get a little concerned about with the high pressure that far north is that we start to see a little bit of weakening, or these ridge axis that drop down. We get some troughing, maybe some rain and showers that try to pull up along the weaker side of it. And so that's going to be something that'll be interesting to watch as we go through. And again, this is only Tuesday, so we can't go too far out in time with any exact details. But just kind of giving you an idea of what we're looking like as we roll into Saturday morning. This high pressure, it's 1,028 millibars, and I think it'll be more like 1,032 towards the center. But it's going to be pushing a backdoor front across the area, rather dry front, so not a lot of rain or anything. But this east-northeast wedge will start building into the coast by Saturday morning. As this front pushes down, we'll see those winds start to increase just ahead of it and behind it. The whole area is going to be under the influence of this large high, this blocking pattern for a couple of days, so a good 48-hour period. Sunday it bends down as well. So that's what we're looking at. If we take a look, I'm just going to pick Folly Beach, right? So I don't want to go too far offshore. The Capers nearshore buoy is going to be in the wrong direction. So I'm just picking Folly as a point of reference here, right? Doesn't necessarily represent the entire race course, but we'll take it forward to Saturday. We see a lot of agreement already from the medium to low resolution models. Now, the high resolution models will know more on Thursday at the Skipper's meeting. But you can see this east-northeast stiff wind starting to pick up Saturday morning around 8 to 10 a.m. So right around the race start, we're starting to get into those low to mid teens. And from my experience in the Charleston area, we tend to see these winds starting a little sooner. Now, if that backdoor front hangs a little farther north, this could arrive a little later, which means we could have a more of a modest start and through the early afternoon, which is pleasant. We don't want to get into those, upper teens to near 20 knots until after everybody's in, right? So hopefully that'll hold off. But this wind also it is known for increasing the pressure gradient across the area really fast. So we could be looking at low to mid 20s, right? So we don't want the winds to be too strong. But for right now, we're going to hold off on that a little bit. I think the timeline may drop back. Cold fronts tend to take a little longer. So does that east-northeast wedge to make it down. I think eastern North Carolina will probably see it a lot sooner than us. As we get into Sunday, we see this pressure gradient remaining in place. The GFS and the trim, some of these other models are starting to keep it in the low 20s. Also, my experience is that a lot of times, if that high is a little stronger at 10,000 or 1,032 millibars, then we could end up with a few extra knots on top of what this is saying. So we have to be mindful of that. It's a little too early to make that call just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and call for both Saturday and Sunday being in the 18 to 22 knots ranges once the winds fill in. Be late afternoon on Saturday, pretty much through the night and all day Sunday. Now, we'll talk about some of those nuances where it backs offshore a little bit overnight and then picks up in the morning, about what time on Sunday morning. It's not going to be the same direction the entire time as we see along our coast. It tends to bend back offshore overnight and then fill back in the morning. So more details coming. GFS, one thing I do want to kind of take a look at is, let me zoom in a little bit for the southeast region, is, and again, we're far out on the rain, but If we get into Saturday, you see this troughing start to lift up from the south. We get low pressure developing off the coast of Florida. It's not a tropical low as of yet. It's just an area of low pressure, maybe a tut low. But on this weaker end of the high pressure, where the isobars tighten and then they start to loosen on the bottom end, this troughing or warm front activity starts to lift up from the south, which could push a few showers up across the area. I don't think storm activity, I think the pressure gradient between this low and this high will pinch, and then we'll get some cloudiness and maybe some rain. I'm not too concerned about storms right now, but as we go into Sunday morning as well, some of that rain starts to swell up some from the south. I think more of this will probably be limited to offshore, but we can't rule out some of these onshore, nearshore trough shower activities and some of the short waving that occurs with it. So just kind of a future look and some things to look at. Could get a little cloudy, could get a little messy at times with some showers, but overall looking like a pretty speedy day for both races. If we look at the nearshore buoys, I'm just going to pick the Fripp nearshore here as a point of reference. Now the original forecast went away, so we're stuck with the Gerling-Hansen plot now for these. If you're looking at the offshore wave activity, so it looks like the peak wave periods will be holding right around 8 seconds as that fills in. Could be more like 9 or 10 if the winds filter down a little bit sooner. It could be like one of those things where Saturday morning the waves offshore in like a 6-second period, then extended to 8 period overnight into Sunday. Wave heights will be on the increase though, so I do caution that. We're looking at about 3 feet, 2 to 3 feet, at least 3 feet offshore, and those winds fill in Saturday afternoon. And then as we get into Sunday, we start to get up to around 4, maybe 5 feet as you get 18 miles out. So this might be a better race to stick as close to shore as possible to hide from some of that larger swell that's going to be occurring offshore. And with that said, the winds a lot of times end up being a little stronger farther out as well. So if you go to the CHS buoy, I always like to go to CORP. This is a free site, corp.org. You can find the CHR 60 wave buoy out here. This is a tethered buoy near the original buoy on this side. But you can find the swell information. It is active right now. The Capers near shoreman is offline. I'm not getting any updated forecasts from that one from the nearshore wave report. But either way, this is a good source to use to find out things in real time. And it's 18 miles out, so it may not be indicative of the course action which is going to be going on and how far out you go, but at least it's some near real-time data. With that said, I'll sign off. I'll be back. I'll see you on Thursday at the Skippers meeting. I'll give a final forecast on Friday and any limited support I can provide over the weekend. I might even just do another video tomorrow just to reiterate what I've talked about tonight. If I have any more information, I'll put that in there as well. But I just want to make this an intro preliminary video to get you kind of thinking about some strong winds coming up this weekend for the race. With that said, I'll go ahead and end the segment, and I'll either be back tomorrow with a video or see the Skippers meeting, both. I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.